Hi, it's Jane. Got a few things that I've been managed to work on. Just a few. Mainly just granny squares that I've been making for Billy. Been making a couple of those and some green ones. And finishing off some of the red ones. And then I had a couple in the Christmas color. And I always find it interesting that the time of year that you're looking for those, you would think would be Christmas. No. They usually have it early out in the year. It's already been out in the stores, so it's hard to find. And I have a whole tote somewhere back there in that back room. And trust me, it is a mess because I have totes just stacked up. My yarn totes that are just stacked up ready to move, that kind of thing. So, yeah, there's that. And I do have some. So maybe I'll go digging for some of that Christmas yarn to use it. Who knows? Maybe I'll find it. Maybe I won't. That's just the way it is these days, Not able to find anything lately. A whole lot of nothing everywhere. I did work a little bit on this blanket. And this is the one that I started with the moss stitch in the round, and then I moved up to the Lisa stitch in the white, and I am enjoying that. Do need to move this up. You see, I'm not getting a whole lot done. Crochet knitwise. Knitwise, I have not done anything. Everything is in totes. Knit. Everything. There are times I wonder if I'll ever get to it. I have been doing some sewing though, and I do have some bags to show you, but I will do that at the very end. When try to remember, I told you about in What Whip about that Mullien that I had in my yard. I was going to put a picture up, never did, so I'm going to try to remember to put that picture up here of what it looked like. And, yeah, that's kind of it. I've been out doing cutting weeds and cutting bamboo, and I'm beginning to think the bamboo is winning. I'm not going to let it. I do have 1, 2, 3 more spots that I need to really cut it down. I am spraying it with this pesticide to kill it, so hopefully that'll take it out. Right there around where PP&L, Verizon, and Xfinity cable companies' boxes are, they're supposed to maintain that. They don't. They let it grow up so big. Finally, I just went out there and cut all of it out. And now you can see the boxes, whereas before you couldn't even see the boxes because the bamboo was covering it up. And they're kind of annoying me because, I have to call in, pester them to death about cleaning up their mess and keeping their boxes clear and free. And they don't do it on a regular basis. They don't even maintain them. And then when they do come out, they stick out those stupid flags, those red flags all over the place. Cable line here, electric line here. And, I'm like, yeah, I know. But then it interferes if I try to use the weed eater. So I have to move it to use the weed eater to cut everything back down. So it just seems like it's a never-ending battle with these people trying to get them to take care of what they need to take care of. So I can take care of my stuff instead of having to take care of theirs and mine. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been sewing, going through things, getting rid of a lot of stuff that I don't use, those kind of things. Did finally find the Wii remote, listed it on eBay. It sold within 10 minutes of it being on eBay. Of course, it had like 8 games and the remote, and then it had the Wii remote that you could actually play like a Nintendo game, like the Nintendo Switch. Had that big remote with it, and the bat, the tennis racket, the golf club, the whole 9 yard. So that went really quick. I was really glad of that. The PS4, still have not found all the cords to it. I don't know if I ever will. That was the only thing with people wanting to help you. They don't realize what they did not help at all. It just really messed things up. So hopefully I'll find the rest of that so I can get rid of the PS4. I don't play games. If I play games, I play them on my iPad. That's about it. I've found a few more skeins of yarn. I did find a real pretty, the Honeydew yarn by Red Heart. And this is one of those that it's softer. Does not feel the really harsh, like this. I think this is Dark Sage. What is this? Yeah, it's Dark Sage. This is kind of rough and coarse, and the Honeydew was a softer side of Red Heart. I don't know what they had going on then that time, but yeah, found it. Found a couple of blues in the basic Premier that I had wanted to do something with. Remembered what I was doing, so I'm doing that. Later this week, I have a young lady. She is, I believe she's 21. 20 or 21. She has self-taught herself to crochet, but she would like to learn to read crochet patterns and wants to learn a few more stitches. So we are going to go over some of those stitches and some of those things. This week we're getting together. She will be starting college August the 16th again, second year at college. So hopefully, I'm hoping to tell her if she really wants to learn crochet that she needs to check out Bag a Day on YouTube for a lot of crochet patterns and all those kind of things, because she'll learn a lot from Crystal. Crystal is an excellent teacher, and of course she is an excellent cheerleader for those of us that don't think we can. She always tells us we can do it. We can do it. So that is one thing I appreciate about Bag a Day, about Crystal. As for the reading the patterns, we'll go through those a little bit as we can. Do a little bit of teaching her about how to read patterns, looking at certain ways that patterns are written. Main thing is for her to understand whether it is British terms or U.S. standards, and getting across to her that there are no real standard written instructions. She will find some good patterns and some bad patterns, and just kind of give her an idea of how to read patterns. And the biggest thing to reading patterns is knowing that many times if they're in brackets or parentheses, that is your repeating pattern. And they may tell you, there may be, instructions in that and say times 3. So you would do that 3 times, then before go on to the next. Those are simple things to learn. But I do know a lot of people do not know how to read patterns. And because of that, when they do see a pattern, they get stymied. Thankfully, there are a lot of people on YouTube that do tutorials for all kinds of things to teach you how to do things without even a pattern. Sorry about that, the battery died. And basically the big thing is to learn that person's lingo and what you kind of have to figure out what they're doing. But luckily there are a lot of people online that not only write patterns, but they would do a tutorial so you could actually have the pattern written in front of you, follow along with the tutorial for you to learn how to read patterns. For those of you that don't read patterns, like I said, there are a plethora of people that do tutorials to teach you how to crochet without you ever having to read a pattern, and that's great too. That's a bonus for all of us that do crochet. So yeah, that's going to be fun teaching her, and she goes to my church, and she's a lovely young lady, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, we're going to do wadding Tarnation first, and then I'll show you the bags, and then we'll do the devotional. There are a lot of wadding Tarnations. You ready? All right, black bear caught on camera during rare visit to Illinois. A black bear was caught on camera during a rare visit to Illinois, leading authorities to issue a public warning. The Williamson County Sheriff's Office said in a Facebook post that the bear was spotted Thursday morning in the area of Galatia Post and Angelville roads just outside of Carbondale in downstate Illinois. This is a confirmed sighting with multiple witnesses. Public should not approach the bear and are asked to report further sightings to the sheriff's office. Black bears were once native to Illinois, but were wiped out in the state in 1870 by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. So there are currently no resident populations of black bear in Illinois, but the potential exists for individuals from existing populations in Missouri and Wisconsin to travel into the state. Maybe the black bears weren't killed by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, but that's kind of like the way that it read, so that's rather interesting. Now, I know a lot of people have strange pets, but sometimes you have to wonder. Firefighters rescue monkey from a tree at an Indiana campground. What was it doing in the tree? You know, I wonder those kind of things. Firefighters in Indiana came to the rescue of a monkey that escaped from its owner at a rural campsite and ended up getting its leash tangled in a tree about 30 to 35 feet above the ground. The Orange County Rural District Fire Department said Facebook post the crews responded to the Patoka Lake campgrounds late Tuesday night when Curious George decided to leave the camp and go for a late night stroll. The monkey had climbed a nearby tree and ended up getting stranded when its leash became tangled in some branches. Firefighters joined Orange County Sheriff's Department deputies, Indiana conservation officers, and personnel from the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, and they formulated a plan to rescue the stranded simian. Few strategy cuts were made, and the monkey was safely lowered back down to the campsite. The department said it was one of its more unusual calls for firefighters. This is most certainly a call for service members that they will never forget. Now, when I first read this headline, I started not to include this story, but it's worthy. Diver rescues boy's sunken fishing pole from Tennessee lake. A Tennessee diver came to the rescue when a 13-year-old boy lost a fishing pole with immense sentimental value in Norris Lake. Kendricks Nickley, not sure I'd say, 13, said he inherited the fishing pole from his father who died in 2022. So he was distraught when it sank to the bottom of Norris Lake. I was in our kayak and I paddled too fast and the wind caught the back of it and it fell off the back of the kayak, he told WBIR-TV. His grandmother called Jason Hopkins, a local diver, known for reuniting people with their sunken treasures. Hopkins was able to recover the bowl in a matter of minutes. To see the smile on Kendricks's face was priceless. Absolutely priceless, Hopkins said. Nicely said he will take care to make sure the bowl stays out of the water from now on. We ain't got a lot of his stuff, he said, so it really meant a lot for me to get it back. See, it's worthy. Recycling employee rescues kitten from a waste compactor. A worker for a New Jersey recycling program climbed into the back of a truck to rescue a kitten that wound up in his waste compactor. Burlington County Regional Recycling Program employee Mark Mata said he was checking on his truck when he discovered an oil-covered kitten trapped in the waste compactor. I shut everything off and climbed in the back of the truck to get her. The kitten was taken to the Rise Again Animal Rescue and is now being fostered by Samantha Stamile, who also works for the recycling program. Mata was recently reunited with the kitten, now named Squishy. Squishy has been doing well after her adventures and came back to the office today to officially meet her savior. We don't know how Squishy ended up in the recycling bin, but we are so glad she's safe. Mata said he was just happy to help. Just doing my part for the cats, he said. Just want her to get a good home. She deserves it. Now the other day, Wednesday, was a bad day for Wade Avenue in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I've traveled that road many a time. Overturned truck covers North Carolina highway ramp in steak sauce. It was a not so sweet, not so savory situation Wednesday morning on Interstate 440 ramp in Raleigh, North Carolina, when an overturned truck spilled thousands of gallons of steak sauce. Police said the tractor trailer overturned about 1:45 a.m. on the ramp from Wade Avenue to 440 and lost its load of steak sauce and teriyaki marinade gallon bottles into the roadway. The driver was not injured, but the spilled cargo left a sticky mess that required several hours to clean up. Morning commute drivers were advised to find alternate routes while crews worked to clear the truck and the saucy spill from the roadway. And I will tell you that ramp is a little interesting, so I can see why it turned over. Denver's airport most unusual lost and found items. Elk meat, circular saw. Colorado's Denver International Airport revealed the most unusual items to pass through its lost and found that include elk meat and a circular saw. The airport, which averages more than 2 million travelers each day, receives about 150 to 200 lost and found items daily. Many items that arrive at the lost and found window come as no surprise, said Lost and Found supervisor Noel Aguirre. The top 5 are bags, IDs, glasses and electronics and jewelry. Other items are a bit more unusual, like a circular saw, a forklift battery. She said some of the department's past finds include elk meat, urns, and dogs forgotten in the parking garage. Lost and found items are held by the airport for 30 days. We're always trying our best to return these items back to the owner. That's interesting. Goats trample parked SUV on Colorado mountain. A pair of goats decided to give a stress test to a hiker's parked SUV on a Colorado mountain, and the moment was caught on camera. Mindy Williford, aka Super Glamp, on social media, I'm sure you've seen her, returned to her Subaru SUV after hiking at Mount Blue Sky, about 45 miles west of Denver, and discovered the telltale signifiers of hoofed hijinks. "Those are hoof prints. There was a goat on my car," she said in a video posted to her accounts. "That is hilarious, and it went all the way on top here too." The post captured the attention of the official Subaru account. "People have said, we're the goat, but I didn't think that was what it meant." The company wrote in a comment on TikTok, "Williford says in her video, 'I wish I could have seen that.' And her wish came true thanks to a wildlife photographer named Michael Rhino." Rhino's video, posted to Instagram, shows one goat walking across the vehicle's hood while a second stomps on the rooftop cargo box. "Oh my God, that's my car," Williford wrote in a comment. "Thank you so much for capturing this." She wrote her vehicle is goat tested and goat approved. Colorado Parks and Wildlife shared Rhino's video on social media. "Looks up, mountain goat on top of vehicle coverage," the post said. "Mountain goats have special hooves that help them travel up cliffs, steep slopes, and in this case, a car. Their hooves have a hard outer rim and a soft rubbery bottom that acts like a suction cup. Now you know how they can climb up those mountains." And lastly, this was too cute not to share. Man named literally anybody else running for president. Texas man legally changed his name to literally anybody else to apply for a particularly difficult to get job, President of the United States. The 35-year-old military veteran and middle school math teacher, formerly known as Dustin Ebby, said he is running for president to protest the current major party candidates, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump, and show his distaste for a system that his website states often prioritizes partisan battles over real solutions. Isn't that true? Else is running a writing campaign in Texas where he did not get the required 113,000 signatures to make it onto the ballot, and is expected to appear by name on the Tennessee ballot, where he said he did get the required amount of signatures. "It's not necessarily about drawing attention to my grievances," Else told KTRK TV, "but about giving a place for anyone who shares these grievances to come together to a focal point." Else announced Neil David Schultz, a New York man currently living in Switzerland, will be his running mate. And there you have it. Another choice for president. My biggest problem is they never get solutions to any real problems. The only problem that they seem to solve is their own, and that's not helpful to the rest of us. All right, now I do have some bags that I did get finished up. So let me show you those bags. And I have two drawstring bags, and this one is the Fairy Cat. And the reason I've nicknamed it the Fairy Cat is because that kitty right there has a little wand, acting little fairy. It is a drawstring bag, has a green print interior. The next one is the Wild Animals series with the little tigers and lions and giraffes and elephants, zebras. These are the little baby animals. Drawstring as well, and it has a plain green interior. Now this bag is a Star Wars bag. It does have a notions pouch with it. And this is it. It measures 15 across by 12 tall. Has a 5-inch box bottom. And the interior is just a blueprint. So there's that. The rest of these bags all measure 15 by 13 inches and have a 5-inch box bottom. I do have one more of the Fairy Cat, and it also has the pouch with the green interior. There is that. The pouches measure about 7 by not quite 6 inches. They're 7 by about 6. Oh, look at that, an extra string. And of course, remember, additional strings come to you at no additional cost. I'm being silly, okay? Then I do have the wild animals. Guess I should hold it the right way. In a tote. And it has the, again, just the plain green interior on it. There is one of these, and this is the last of this fabric, and that is the skeins and yarn bowls with knitting and crochet tools on it. It is in that red color. It does have the notions pouch that comes with it, and then it has a red print for the interior. There's only one of those. These are all just one bags with the exception of these 2 bags, because this is the last of the fabric that I found for the Star Trek notions pouch and the Star Trek pouch as well. And both of these are in blue. There are 2 of them. And then they have that blue interior for the inside. Now, the Star Wars and the Star Trek bags, the handles are blue polyester webbing. The rest of these handles are cotton webbing in that cream color and then with the black. So yeah, those are the bags that by the time you see this are already up in the shop. Hopefully I'll get them up later on Sunday night. I don't know. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, that is it for the shop update portion. I'm updating a little bit as I go here and there. So, trying to do a little bit of sewing as I go in between, because for me, sewing is like knitting and crocheting. Believe it or not, it calms me. So I do enjoy that. All right, you ready for a little devotion? Here we go. Promises from God's heart. Promises from God's heart when you are feeling overwhelmed. Boy, I feel overwhelmed a lot of times. A man's steps are established by the Lord, and he takes pleasure in his way. Though he falls, he will not be overwhelmed, because the Lord holds his hand. Psalm 17:23 through 24. You who answer prayer, to you all people will come. When we were overwhelmed by sins, you forgave our transgressions. Blessed are those who choose and bring near to live in your courts. Psalm 65:2 through 4. Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. And I rest on that verse a lot. God is our refuge and strength, the helper who is always found in times of trouble. Psalm 46:1. The God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. 1 Peter 5, verse 10. But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, and the one who lifts up my head. Psalm 3, verse 3. Cast your burden on the Lord. He will support you. God will never let the righteous be shaken. Psalm 55, verse 22. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you again later. I am filming another video with the shout outs for this week. I do have a couple of the healthier use filmed and ready. Those have been filmed and uploaded. They just are scheduled to come out later. And I am just working on things as I go. Alright guys, I'll see you again next week. As always, be a little kinder to yourself, be kind to one another, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.